Hi everybody! Thanks for stopping by to check out the latest from Sailing Emerald Steel. In this video we're going to be sharing with you the one thing that Jules and I both hate about cruising and have never been able to get used to after 30 years. And before we get started with that, we'd like to once again thank all of you for all your comments and thumbs up on our last video. Love hearing from you guys, so keep the comments coming.
Throughout the years, we met several people who wanted to be cruisers and they gave up. And also we heard many stories about sailors who gave up the cruising because of the difficulties they encounter. One of the most common thing is when people give up is when they go in a long ocean passage and say within the first week they run into a gale. They just decide it was just way too hard on them, and so they decide to sell the boat. In our maiden voyage to Hawaii, we actually talked to a Coast Guard in the Hilo Harbor who just returned from rescuing a couple. They told us the story that a husband and wife decided to sell their house, purchase a sailboat and go to South Seas. But after encounter a heavy gale by equator, they put out a mayday. So Coast Guard went out there to rescue them, and actually there was nothing wrong with their sailboat. So the Coast Guards sent a couple of young guys to bring the boat back. So it's kind of showing to you that a lot of people have big plans, but they are not very realistic about what to expect, and they have a zero experience or a knowledge, so their dream comes to the end very quickly. There is a lot of hardships goes together with a cruising life, not only on the passages, but also when you anchor in distant places. For example, on the passages, you are very sleep deprived. Because when you have to stay up on and off 4 hours and save a passage lasts a month, that means all month long you don't get a one night of good sleep. You're constantly woken up. It can be very hard on a person. Same thing when you're at the anchor. It can be very hard because again in a bad weather you have to stay anchor watches. Can be a very rolly anchorage, and that goes also for a passage. It can be very rolly. That means it will be very hard to cook. Not only cook, but would be also very hard to eat it because you're not going to be able to sit behind a table as so-called normal people do. But you might have to be sitting someplace in the corner, be wedged in, and hold the plate in your hands while you're eating. And things are very difficult, even to the point going to the bathroom. It's not very easy things to do. So there is a lot of things you have to deal with when you are a cruiser, which a lot of people do not think about it. All they think is about sunny beaches and beautiful islands and nothing but fun and game.
Increasing winds and showers, some heavy and chance of thunderstorms, hurricane-force winds.
Entry to Orlando Harbor, the waves breaking through. We have to wait for another day or two before sea comes down so you can get out. And here is the fitting which broke off. So right here, this bolt. When I replace our mast, I use all new rigging, and that's what happened.
Okay, well, Julius is out here making new strops for our gaff throat halyard.
Here's going to be a plug attached to it, so it's going to go around the mast. That's the idea.
Alright.
Before we had a bolt, two bolted, but as you saw broke. So now we're going to have to depend on the strap, which in reality is much more flexible, so it might be even better idea. Running under trysail, latitude 3 north, 180 miles from equator. We're repairing our broken halyard. There is Susan on the top of the mast. And there, while squall is not far off.
It's blowing out now. It's really blowing. We got caught in a little low here.
The most important part to remember is when you work with a hot pans and a hot grease, to be very, very extremely careful, just like Susan is with her shorts, because she preferred to look hot and sexy. And but the truth is, that after being for so long on a boat and doing it for so long, she's extremely careful, and she's prepared in any kind of boat motion.
I haven't burnt myself yet.
Yeah, she is a very, you know,
We'll see.
she has many hours, days and months and years of experience.
There are times, due to the motion of the boat, that it's very difficult to cook.
And tell you the truth, there's also the same time where you don't have much of appetite to eat.
Oh, you always have an appetite to eat, Jules.
So sometimes you feel like all that effort went for nothing.
Julius is probably thinking, what the hell am I doing going up to North Pacific? South Pacific was a lot warmer. But here we go. We're on our way. Many sailors give up cruising after experiencing these type of conditions. Some by choice and some by losing their boat. Out of 24 boats, 5 survived here.
So here is day 13. Yesterday the Greek files told us that today is supposed to be 7 knots of wind from 125, 130 degrees. But as you see, it turned out to be opposite. Low moving towards us. Right now is located at 37 north, 160 west, and we are 35 north and 154.30. So it's coming right at us. Right now we have a near gale conditions, good size waves building up, and wind howling. We have a double reef mainsail and a staysail balanced, and she pretty much steers between a 5 true north and a 20 degree north. So let's just hope it's gonna go by fast enough and what we got to return for Greek file come to pass.
This is what we picked up here. I have no idea how we're going to get it off. Maybe going diving.
Diving on the propeller. Susan just got out of the water.
That was amazing.
It's cold. She said it reported much colder in Hawaii, but luckily she was able to untie the netting.
Julius is on watch right now. We haven't seen a thing,
Looking outside.
except for maybe a couple birds. You see anything?
All clear on the horizon.
Okay.
So put back into my remote position. It's easy to kick back and pretend you're working. Years ago, when we didn't have a water maker, it was also a challenge to find a place where we can pick up water. Because if you're in a marina, then you have your own water on the dock. But when you are out anchoring, especially outside the country, you will find out that getting a water, it's not that easy. In the South Seas, most of our water we picked up by having an awning, pick up from our rainwater. But otherwise we had to carry jugs to the boat. And again, a lot of people don't realize what a drag is there to carry jugs. So in our case, carry 2 jugs at a time. Each jug carry 5 gallons. So you're talking about 40 pounds per jug. So you carry 80 pounds at one time. So it's going to be kind of heavy. A lot of times you have to drag it across the muds to get into a deeper water where you can launch a dinghy. It's a lot of trouble. That's the kind of things people do not think about it. And for example, when you're in the islands, you don't have a car and transportation, and sometimes you have to walk a long distance to a store, so carry all your groceries back. So things are not as simple and easy as a lot of people think the cruising life is.
When the evening comes and the sun is setting, these are the times we hate the most, because we know that instead of going to sleep together, one of us will have to stay on watch while the other one will go to sleep alone. So as you can see, there are many difficult type of situations that cruisers have to put up with. None of them bother us too much, but the one thing that Jules and I both hate the most is the fact that we are deprived of being able to sleep together. That's the one thing that we just have never been able to get used to.
Susan was taking a little nap while we're sailing slowly, about 5.5 knots towards the crater. Here's Susie, my first mate, and the chef, taking early afternoon nap. To catch up with a few hours, she loses sleep when she's on the watch at night. But before she went take a nap, she made a fine loaf of bread, which we will have for lunch a little later on.
It doesn't matter how uncomfortable the place is. When you are good and tired, you can fall asleep just about anywhere.
Getting some extra needed carbs. Here I would like to share with you a story which is good to remember, not only for cruisers to be, but also present cruisers. Many years ago, when we were returning from South Pacific, we stopped in Hawaii, and because we decided to go to Pacific Northwest and we knew we were going to be encountering a lot of fog and heavy traffic, we decided to buy a radar. We embarked on a long passage which is over 3,000 miles towards the Pacific Northwest. Now, we were at that time about, I would say, 800 miles of the west coast of the Northern California. And because we had a radar, and the radar had an alarm watch on it, that means you could set the alarm zone. In our case, there was a 16-mile radar, so you could set an alarm zone for 16 miles. If anything entered into that zone, the alarm would come on and would let us know. So we thought we were actually sailing like in a Queen's Mary big cruise liner. We decided to take our clothes off and go sleep together, and had our radar standing by to let us know if something happened. It was about 20-25 knots of wind. We were running downwind with our boom way out. with a preventer and a jib tied in the midship to keep her steering, and we went to sleep. Now, that radar is very, very sensitive, and some of you know, some of you don't. Actually, it picks up squalls. So if a heavy rain squall is approaching, the radar actually comes on. So as we were sleeping about 12:30 at night, suddenly the alarm came on, and I woke up and I turned to Susan, it's just probably a squall, but nevertheless I better get up and go look at it. So when I open the hatch and I look in the back of our boat, I notice a red and green light and 2 white lights. Now the ship was about, I would say, a mile, 2 miles away from us, but she was bearing directly on us.
Dead astern.
Now the problem was this here, that our mast is 12 inches in diameter, so our radar has a dead spot in the back of the radar. There was a good-sized ocean swell, maybe 8, 9, 10 feet, and the ship was going directly behind us. Now our radar did not pick up her, but evidently one time when our boat was coming down from the wave, the boat turned, and suddenly she picked up the ship. Now right away I yelled to Susan, get on the VHF radio, call the ship and let them know we are ahead of them.
Try to call the ship, they never replied.
And I grabbed the spotlight and started shining on the ship and shining on our sails, but as we noticed, nothing was happening. The ship was not replying on a VHF radio, she was not changing the course, so it was time to take a preventive action. I jumped in the cockpit, I was all naked, just straight from the bed. I grabbed the wheel, and the last minute I turned her into the port.
We jibed without the boom, actually.
We jibed, but because a boom was tied off with a preventer, the gaff went to the other side, and within a few minutes, the ship passed by on our starboard side.
Way too close.
Now, after a very short time, we got hit with a pretty good size wave, because in this these kind of conditions, when a ship makes a wake, it creates a kind of confused seas. That was the last time we went sleep together. So we never did before the radar, but this time we thought the electronics is the way to go, so we went sleep. But we never again done that, because that was very, very close call to get run down by the big ship. And you know what? That ship never slowed down. That ship never answered the VHF thing. They never saw us. So just kind of share with you a story, then you better be very, very careful, because you know what? No one will be watching for you. Not your radar reflector, not your radar or anything else. You got to be out there watching yourself.
It's actually very easy to get lax when you're out there. If you don't see a ship for days and days and days, you just think that you're out there by yourself, and you're not.
Yeah.
So now you guys know our biggest secret, that Jules and I don't like to sleep alone. What we miss most of all is a triple T. Right, Jules?
Yep. So triple T stands for tummy to tummy. What we found out many, many years ago, that under any kind of stress or any kind of problems,
if we feel sick or upset,
when we lay tummy to tummy, all the problems goes away, and we really relax, and we truly believe that we find a peace, and even our blood pressure probably goes down.
Believe it or not, we actually attributed our good health to laying tummy to tummy.
Yeah, and actually recently I heard on the news where they say that close contact between the two people actually is very beneficial for the nerve system.
So now you guys know all of our secrets. Okay guys, so that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a comment and a thumb up. And before we leave, we'd like to once again thank all of our Patreons and people that support us through PayPal. We really appreciate your support, and we will see you all next time. Thanks for stopping by.
Bye-bye.
See you later.